Regular BBC daytime viewers will recognise these giants of the antiques world who light up our screens with their wisdom and charm.
I've more than doubled my money.
But what sort of things do our experts get up to when they're not on the telly? Well, we're about to find out, as over the course of 1 week, we'll be seeing one pair of plucky heavyweight dealers face a different daily challenge. Some of those challenges will be familiar territory. Yes! Some will be pitching our experts into the unknown.
Bang, bang, bang.
They'll be going head-to-head in a battle for profit, showing us how they've risked their own money and reputations by recreating some of their real-life deals.
Profit, profit and more profit.
And if the stakes weren't high enough already, each expert has a favourite charity that will be benefiting from their profits. The challenge to our experts is clear. Put your money where your mouth is. Today's hard-nosed dealers are our very own collectibles gent, Paul the man from Morecambe Hayes, and the radiant First Lady of Antiques, Kate Absolute Bliss. With a father who was an auctioneer, Kate has spent her life surrounded by antiques and is a renowned independent valuer, agent and broker with over 12 years of experience under her belt. Her position as the First Lady of Antiques comes from dispensing expert advice on bargain hunt and flog it. Just like his opponent, Paul grew up in the world of antiques. His father was a dealer and our blue-eyed boy has been buying and selling since he was 6 years old. He's worked as an independent dealer for 10 years and is in a league of his own when it comes to rooting out cash in the attic and turning the trash to cash. So we have the experts, they have the knowledge, the contacts and a fierce desire to win. But what is the aim of today's game?
Good morning, Kate.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? You well?
Nice to see you. This is for you, apparently.
Okay, and this one's for you.
Okay.
It says here, Paul and Kate, your challenge today is to spend £500 of your own money on antiques.
Ooh, I better go to the bank.
Yes. You must then resell your purchases with the aim of making as much profit as possible. The winner is the presenter who makes the most cash.
Ooh, well, this
quite a
says
challenge.
today you must buy all your antiques from an antiques market.
Okay.
Good luck.
Right.
I think I'm going to need it.
Let's get going.
Something tells me the First Lady of Antiques is trying to lure our blue-eyed boy into a false sense of security, because behind that friendly exterior lies a keen and competitive mind. Today's Lady and the Gent clash is taking place at the famous Ardingly Antiques Fair in West Sussex. There are over 1,500 stalls here today, and Paul and Kate will be facing some of the toughest and most knowledgeable dealers around as they try to spend up to £500.
Is that your very best seller?
Experienced salesmen aren't the only thing that Paul and Kate will have to contend with, though, because it's also a sweltering hot day. So, having had an initial look round, what tactics will the Lady and the Gent be employing as they strive for victory today?
Now, I've actually got 3 strategies today. The first one is to buy nothing but quality. The second, to avoid damaged goods. And the third, to buy things as cheaply as possible.
Well, the temperature might be soaring, but the man from Morecambe is keeping cool and has drawn up a sound strategy. But he's not the only one with a plan.
My strategy for today is to keep an open mind. There are 1,500 stalls here to look at, and I've got buyers back home who I know are looking for certain things, but I'm really looking for something that catches my eye. Could be anything. And I'm hoping that having an open mind might help me just get ahead in this little competition and help beat that Paul Hayes.
So, as our 2 experts lock horns, will it be Kate's open-minded approach,
Well, there's all sorts of little bits in here.
or Paul's determination to buy only quality pieces that wins the day?
Look at this, what a beauty.
With the sun beating down, the heat is most definitely on, and it looks like Paul might be reflecting on making his first possible purchase of the day.
Now, sometimes you walk around these fairs and you see something of absolute top quality. This is exactly the sort of thing that I would love to be buying, but We're on £500 today, and this is a little bit beyond budget. But what a cracker. This is a solid silver mirror. It dates about 1900, 1902. It's in the Art Nouveau style, and it's probably the biggest one I've ever seen. The quality is superb. It's got beveled glass, all this pierce work, craftsmanship. It's £1,000, all right? Now, if we had a bit more money today, I might have even gone for that, actually. I think it's an absolute cracker. But we're on a budget. We're all out for profit at the end of the day, so this one's staying here for a while.
So despite its obvious quality, this is one mirror that he won't be checking out those boyish good looks in front of. And whilst Paul continues his quest for quality outside, Kate is busy inside. But has anything caught her eye?
Well, I've just bought this lovely little lamp for £25. Now, I don't normally go for lamps, but I think that's a little bit of a cracker. It's Georgian style, brass, but looking at the base, I think it's probably Edwardian. And little lamps like this have one special little feature. And if we look at the feet, one of them has got a little hole in. And that's because these are known as Pullman lamps, because people used to sit at them on the tables in railway carriages or Pullman carriages. And they had similar sort of things on boats or yachts. And I think that's quite quirky, really. Georgian in style, you see this knopped stem here. You see stems like that on candlesticks or lamp bases of the Georgian period. But this one's got rather nice little cabriole legs here, in nice condition. And the great thing about it, although it's period, it's been wired with modern wiring and a little shade here, all nice and new and clean, which is what you want in your home, really, isn't it? So that's a big advantage. I don't think that's too bad. The pressure's on, Paul. I hope you're looking.
Well, that's fighting talk from Miss Bliss, but back outside it seems that the sun is getting to Paul.
Oh, I'll tell you something, this is hard. It's not all plain sailing, is it? Hoping to end up the creek without a paddle. Another fine mess you got me into here. I give up now. Give up now.
Well, he's having a good time, but the name of the game is to buy and sell antiques and make a profit. And whilst Paul is keeping everyone entertained, Kate is hard at work trying to find another bargain.
How much on the stationery box, please?
For 80.
80?
80.
£80, well, that's not bad. It's a good colour, but some of the little dividers of the compartments here are missing. I think I'll think about that one.
Well, Kate did say she was prepared to look at things with an open mind, but the damage to the stationery box has still given her pause for thought. And after the opening skirmishes, Miss Bliss knows it's going to take real skill and stamina to win today's contest.
Well, it's still roasting hot. My feet are hurting now. You know, it really isn't a piece of cake here. I've had such a good look round, and you cover a huge distance here. This is a massive fair, and I still haven't found more than just a couple of items that I really want to buy.
As the sun beats down and the temperature rises, the heat isn't the only thing our experts are having to battle.
Is that your rock bottom?
This is, yeah.
These dealers know their stuff, but after giving everyone a quick burst of his Norman wisdom routine, Mr. Hayes has got back into the serious business of hunting out quality items, and it looks like he's coming up trumps.
Now I found out a wonderful item here. This is an 18th century chatelaine, and it would belong to a lady around about 1780, 1800, a very wealthy lady at that. This would actually hang from her belt or her purse, and she would have looked very, very elegant. But in here, hidden away, are all the items she would need for a manicure. There's little scissors here, there's things to do your nails with, little spoons, and the whole thing is absolutely top quality. It's made from parcel gilt, which is gilded bronze, and it has these wonderful agate stones set in, which would have been quite rare at that time and very expensive. It's on the stall here for £495. So that really would be all my money. It's tempting, but one little tip. One of the stones has a slight crack, and to find these or to replace these would be a big problem. So it's something to think about, but it's not sort of thing I want to put all my eggs in one basket. So let's keep looking.
You see, when he concentrates all that northern know-how on the job at hand, Mr. Morecambe is a formidable force. Pinning all his hopes on one item would be a big gamble, and even though he's fallen behind in the early stages, he's decided to mull it over before taking such a big risk. Don't forget our two experts can spend up to £500 of their own money. So far, Paul hasn't spent a sausage and has still got £500 locked away in his kitty. Miss Bliss might not be exactly splashing the cash either, but she has parted with £25, leaving her £475 still to spend. With the opening salvos out of the way, it's time to get down to the serious business, and with so much money left in both our experts' kitties, there's still all to play for. As Paul continues on his crusade to find quality pieces outside, back inside, the First Lady of Antiques has sniffed out a potentially profitable piece.
Well, that's lovely, isn't it?
A very nice one. It's very reasonable as well. Take 130 for that.
Is that your rock bottom on that?
130 is the rock bottom. It's a good price.
To be honest with you, I mean, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I can't see an awful lot of profit in that at that kind of price.
Kate's determined to drive a hard bargain for this little vinaigrette, but the dealers at this fair are no pushover, and whilst she gets down to the tough business of haggling, Paul's eagle eyes have spotted something that could put him back in the frame.
Now, what I try to do when I come to these antique fairs is to buy absolute quality, and this one for me says exactly that. If you wanted a photo frame for a picture of your loved one or your family members, what a great thing to have. They don't come any better than this. This was actually made from parcel gilt, which is bronze, which has been gold plated, and it's been made maybe 1880, 1900. And the detail here is absolutely superb. It's very fine, very, very intricate. And for that reason, they've placed it in this secondary frame. This velvet frame here is typically Victorian, and that was used really to protect the gold and also to protect these intricate bits. And to top it all, this one actually has a coronet or a crown on the top. So I suspect this has belonged to somebody very wealthy originally. It's had an important photograph or picture in the front, perhaps even a sketch of somebody or a portrait. But what a cracker. But it would suit my missus, actually. I put a picture of my wife in there. It would look fantastic.
He says all the right things, doesn't he? The picture frame is Paul's first buy of the day and edges him into the lead. But back inside, Kate has spied a port bottle label and is trying to do a deal for that and the vinaigrette.
So if I do you a really good turn and buy both?
110 and 65, 175. That's the best.
I mean, if you said to me 150 for the two.
That's impossible. Completely impossible. It's got to be 175 for two.
Cash?
It doesn't matter. You give me
No?
a check.
Well, 160.
You know
I'll do a deal now. Take them off your hands.
175.
165.
175.
Well, I tell you what. Let's compromise. 170.
Right, okay.
170?
Okay.
All right.
I won't be eating tonight.
Yes, Kate may seem friendly enough, but beneath that exterior lies the heart of a relentless negotiator.
Well, that turned out to be all right. Well, at least I bought something. Now, these two little pieces, let's look at this one first. Now, this isn't a rare item. There are quite a few of these around. It's a little label to go on a decanter. It's William IV in date, and that's pretty commercial to a collector of bottle labels. But I bought it together with this little piece. Now, from the outside, it looks like a neat little box. It's personalised with little initials, but open it up and you've got the most beautifully made little grille here in silver gilt. And just look at how elaborate and intricate that is. In here, you put a little sponge soaked in smelling salts. And as you walked along the streets in the 1820s, they smelled pretty foul. So you'd whip it out of your pocket, have a little sniff, and it would revive you. It's hallmarked here, it's dated exactly. It's hallmarked on the base as well, in here. And if you look really carefully, you can see that there is a little head on the back of the grille there as well, just here. And that just gives me a bit of confidence because it shows me that all these pieces, although they're made separately, they all belong together and it hasn't been messed around with. So, what about profit? Because that's what I'm here to do. Well, the other good thing is that I bought them together. We agreed a price of $170 for the two, which gives me a little bit of flexibility because I might price that at, say, 100 and that at 70, which might let me squeeze just a little bit more profit. Just get the edge on that, Paul Hayes.
Miss Bliss is on fighting form today, but she's up against the hardest working man in antiques. He might be behind, but despite the heat, Paul's still cool, calm and collected, and he's got a plan to get him back in the running.
Now, when you come to antique fairs like this, you can get obsessed with buying items and you totally ignore the stall holder. And that can be a big mistake. What you really want to find out is how fresh the goods are, where they got them from. And if by spending 5 minutes with the stall holder you find out they've cleared a mansion yesterday and this is all fresh to the market, that's when you want to be buying items. I suspect here that lots of these stall holders have already been to several markets already, so the stuff's already been picked through. And don't forget, the person that clears a house, he's the one that sets the price. You've only got to him to beat, whereas everybody else, it's a fair game.
Well, those are wise words from Mr. Hayes, but with the heat on, will he practice what he preaches and go for that personal touch?
This is a nice little box, isn't it?
Lovely thing, isn't it?
So how much is that?
Do you want to buy the box or the contents?
Well, does it not come with it?
What it can do, it can be $2.50 with the contents, or if you just want the box, 1.5.
Right, OK. What age are the boxes, you know?
I think it's Georgian. It's a Georgian marks, I think, yeah. So
Yep.
It's 1830s, something like that. 1840s.
What a nice thing. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 5 silver top bottles. Well, that's a nice item, actually.
Nicely done, Mr. Hayes. He's built up a rapport with the stall holder. Now it's time to move in and do a deal.
So if I bought the complete lot, what are we looking?
Give me $2.20 for it.
I'd rather give you 180 or something like that.
180. Can we meet $2.10?
190 will have a do. How's it?
I'll tell you what, 195 we've got a deal.
That sounds good to me, mate. Thank you very much.
The personal touch has worked. Paul spent some time chatting to the stall holder before getting down to business, and it's really paid off.
And what I've tried to do here today is to buy absolute quality. I think this is a perfect example. But the gentleman here made me laugh, actually, because when I've had these in the past, what I've done is sold them as separate items, so the box could be sold separately. The silver can be taken out and sold as individual boxes. What's nice, I paid a little bit more for it, but bought it complete. We have a maker's mark, and it says, C. Lawrence, manufacture to the royal family. The interior is perfect almost. There's a few bits missing, but that doesn't matter. It's actually, pretty good condition. The top, however, has a split. This is rosewood, and I know a gentleman that restores these boxes. So what we can do is bring it back to life. And I think the fact that it's complete inside, we get the box in good order, we find out who the Honourable Fred Craven is. He could be a member of the royal family. And I think we've got a real cracker here. I'm certainly pleased with it. The dealer here is pleased with it. Let's see what else we can find.
It's a real ding-dong affair today. The grooming box sends Paul back into the lead, but Miss Bliss is just getting warmed up.
Well, these are nicer. They're quite smart, aren't they? So what did you say you wanted for them, sir?
280.
280. Is that your rock bottom?
Yeah.
Now that's quite a good little stall. There's a couple of things on there, some nice little silver bits. I really like those candlesticks. They're a great design, but the hallmarks are really rubbed, and that's a real tip. When you're buying silver, collectors really like clear hallmarks. So they're a bit of a no-no, and they're quite highly priced.
Well, Kate might not be investing in the hallmarks, but before she forges on and finds something that she does think is worth buying, it's time to find out which of our experts is blazing a trail to glory and who's being kept in the shadows. Remember, each of our experts can spend up to £500. Thanks to the gentleman's grooming box, Paul is leading the way, having spent £225, leaving him with £275 to play with. Kate, meanwhile, has parted with just £195, meaning that she has just over £300 left in her kitty. With so much money still to spend, there's everything to play for. But before our experts launch themselves into the final round of buying, gentleman Paul Hayes is determined to prove that chivalry isn't dead.
Oh, you are a gent. Thank you ever so much.
I thought that killed you down.
Fantastic.
So what you bought, anything good?
It's pretty tricky, isn't it?
It's very tricky, yes. Yeah, it is a hard job, actually.
I've been looking all around, actually. I've been in the buildings and in some of the open stalls, but, I mean, trying to find something to make a profit is actually really hard.
Yeah, and don't forget these guys are all here for that reason. They're all trying to sell things at a profit, so...
I know, this is
it's
it.
a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah. So have you spent all your money?
Well, I'm holding the cards close to my chest at the moment, actually. I found a few nice, interesting items. Met some nice people.
Yeah. I found some things that I really like myself. Okay. It's just whether I can make a profit.
Well, who knows? We've got 1,500 stalls to go at. All right, so I'll leave you with that.
Oh, bless you.
All right, best of luck.
Fantastic, and you.
OK.
Bye.
Well, he might be forthcoming with the ice cream, but Mr. Morecambe isn't giving much else away. This race is neck and neck, and with every deal now crucial, Kate has decided to take a chance on the damaged stationery box she spotted earlier in the day.
Now, I've seen quite a few of these around here. It's a stationery box, it's made of oak, and I think it dates about 1910, 1920 maybe. So why have I picked this one out of all the other examples? Well, it's fairly ordinary. As I say, there are quite a few of them, but this is a neat little size. And look inside, we've got compartments for your stationery here, and this is a rather nice little feature. In here, we've got what would have been a little aid memoir, if you like, somewhere to jot your notes or an address if you're writing. And this is made of opaque glass, still in really nice condition and original to the box. So that's quite nice to still find that in there. Closes up, and the thing you've got to watch with boxes like this is that does it gape when you close it? And that doesn't quite line up, so I'm going to take it home and have a little fiddle with those hinges. We've got a little drawer underneath to keep all your envelopes, but it's missing the little knop on there. So again, I'm going to see if I can find one of those, and that'll just smart it up a little bit before I sell it on.
Well, the stationery box might need a little TLC, but it's not the only box that Kate's splashed out on.
Now this box is in a different league. This is a really nice Victorian leather jewellery box. Lovely tooled leather and a great little gilt handle on the top there. And we've got all kinds of compartments in here. Open it up, and then this bit unfolds like this. Now look at that. This bit unfolds and you've got spaces for your rings and for your watch maybe. Lovely green leather and silk in lovely condition. And then here you've got a little compartment for a nail brush, and we've got one in there. Look at that, little ivory nail brush. And then we've got a small little jar here for your trinkets and a little bottle for your smelling salts or your scent. And then in the lid, you think that's just a velvet lining, but you've got a little spring-loaded mirror. It's everything a girl needs, really, isn't it? But the thing about it is that it's in super condition and still very commercial today. So I'm hoping I can find a buyer for this. I know somebody who really likes jewellery boxes and sells them on quickly, so I'm hoping this is going to be his cup of tea. Now, what did I pay for these two? Well, this one obviously was a bit more expensive, £135. But this one was thrown in for just £40, which I think was pretty reasonable. So hopefully we'll get some money out of these two. Now, I'm sure Paul is still rummaging away, so I better get off and see if I can find something else.
You're not wrong, Kate. The two boxes are great buys, but our other blonde bombshell is going through the market with a fine tooth comb. He's left no stone or stall unturned, and his hard work has paid off because he thinks he's spotted something that could serve up a profit.
We got a beautiful Crown Derby cabinet tray. And this one dates about 1890, 1900. But what you would have on here is a teapot, sugar and cream, 2 cups and saucers, and the whole thing would have been the height of elegance in the late 19th century. It's in the best pattern, which is the Japan pattern, which is underglazed blues, reds and gold, and it's in good, perfect condition. There's no cracks or chips at all. That was £100, and I think that's an absolute bargain. Hopefully there's a bit of profit there, but it's anybody's game, this one, isn't it?
It certainly is, Paul. There's nothing to choose between our two experts. They're pulling out all the stops, and with the clock ticking towards the end of today's fair, the First Lady of Antiques has tracked down something that's not to be sniffed at.
Now these are great little items, silver pepper mills. Now there are two here. This one is slightly bigger and I think just fits nicely in your hand. They're both hallmarked, English silver, but this one is slightly later. That dates from 1940, whereas this one is 1905. That makes this one slightly more affordable, and I think there's a little bit more chance of a profit in this one. Condition-wise, it's great, no bad dents, and nice clear marks. Good commercial piece. Most people like a little bit of pepper on their pasta, and I think that's quite a classy piece for your dining table. Well, I'm going to find the vendor, I think he's just over there, and see what price I'm going to have to pay.
So, whilst Kate heads off to try and do a deal, Paul is still keenly hunting out quality pieces, and he's splashed out on something that he thinks is worth writing home about.
Well, this item here was a bit of social history. This is an old Victorian inkstand from the days of pen and ink. And of course you'd have your red and your black ink in these bottles here. You'd have your pens across the top, which would have been the old quills, not the water pens that we have today. And then in the top here would have your nibs, which would go onto your old pens. And this is made in papier-mâché. And papier-mâché is a form of compressed cardboard, so it's very, very light. And the whole thing's beautifully painted and ebonised, which is typically Victorian. And then if you look at the actual accents on it, it's all been gilded. And 9 times out of 10 that gets broken or damaged or rubbed off, but this is nice and crisp. What you have to watch with this, it's been inlaid with mother of pearl. And the mother of pearl is all still there. That's a big problem if that comes out. It costs quite a lot to have repaired. So, all in all, that's a very nice item indeed. It was priced at £78 and I managed to get it for 70, so I got a bit of discount, but as I say, I was happy really where it came from, and there's little chance really get a bit of profit on it.
With time slipping away, Paul's also picked up these attractive silver knives and forks with mother-of-pearl handles for £85 and some charming white figurines in need of a little restoration for £20. The pressure is now really building on Kate, so has she been able to do a deal for the silver pepper mill?
Well, I've just bought this for 45. Well, I don't think that's too bad. I think Paul might have missed that one.
That's a very tasty buy for Miss Bliss, and it's the final action of the day. It's time to find out who's played a blinder and who's going to be playing for the reserves. Our two experts were allowed to spend up to £500. Kate has parted with £415 on 6 items, leaving 85 quid languishing in her kitty. Paul's quest for quality has led him to spend the full £500 also on 6 items. It's been a titanic struggle at today's antiques fair, but before our two experts head for home and try to make a profit from their wares, they're both keen to check out what the opposition has bought.
Ah, now then, Kate, how are you?
Hello.
I don't know about you, but I'm shattered.
Yeah, my feet are quite sore now.
What have you bought? Anything nice?
Well, I think I've rounded it all up now. Do you want to come and have a look?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Come on then.
Have you spent all your money?
No, I haven't actually,
Oh,
not
look.
quite.
Right.
But I really like this. It's a lovely little jewellery box. Quite like it myself actually, but of course I've got to sell it on. Unfolds, and it's got a lovely little mirror behind here. It's just spring-loaded, which is quite neat.
Oh, right.
I thought that was quite nice. But I think my best piece probably is this little piece.
Ah, look
Needs
at
a good
this.
clean. I think it'd look lovely once I've cleaned it up. But it's a lovely early Georgian little vinaigrette.
Oh, right.
Because it's quite hard to find the early ones, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. For
And
smelling
in,
salts.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a sweet smell of success there, I think, there, Kate.
You think so?
I think you've done all right with that.
Oh. Well, what have you got then?
Want to see my bits?
Yeah, you bet.
Now then, I bought some, true to my word, I bought some silver and some ceramics. The first one,
yeah, you've got a real variety here,
I
Paul.
bought a beautiful cabinet tray, isn't that
Oh, that's a
fantastic? I'd
cracker,
love to have had
yeah.
the whole lot, but Crown Derby, 1890, nice condition.
Good date. Nice to get an early one.
Yeah. Now then, this will surprise you. Look at this. It's a beautiful little travelling set, and when I pick these lids up here, these are all Georgian silver.
Well, that's great, isn't it?
Isn't that fantastic?
Have silver
But
fittings.
in the top here, look at this. It says, C. Lawrence, maker to the royal family.
That's lovely little label, isn't it?
Yeah, now that's really a good selling
Yeah.
point, I think. Needs a bit of restoration.
So what's on there?
This is made out to the Honourable Fred Craven.
So you've just got to find a Fred Craven and you'll be fine.
He wants one, yes, that's right. So that's a good buy, I think.
So did you blow all your money?
Yes, I spent the entire lot.
Did you?
Yes.
So you can't buy me a cup of tea?
No, I was hoping you'd buy me one, actually.
Oh, come on.
Go on then.
So at today's antiques market, Kate bought a Victorian leather vanity box, a charming brass lamp, a collection of very collectible silver items, and an early 20th century oak stationery box. Mr. Hayes is walking away with a late 19th century Crown Derby tray, a velvet photo frame, a Victorian papier-mâché inkstand, a Georgian travelling case, 3 white figurines in need of a little restoration, and a beautiful set of early 20th century silver fruit knives and forks with mother-of-pearl handles. So, after a keenly fought contest on the antique fields of Ardingly, our 2 superheroes head for home to prepare for the second part of today's challenge. The aim of the game now is to sell their items and make as much profit as possible. The winner will be the expert who makes the most money for their chosen charity. Remember, Kate bought all her items with specific buyers in mind.
Well, I was wondering if I could come and see you, actually.
But her northern rival seems a little less sure about his strategy for the selling battle ahead.
I've got some traditional bits and pieces. I've got the papier-mâché inkstand, I've got the mother-of-pearl handles, that type of thing. Then I bought some quirky stuff. I bought the cherubs. Now, those 3 cherubs are good quality, but they are damaged. And the cost of restoration sometimes can be enormous, so I'll have to have a good think about them, whether I actually pay for the restoration or just sell them as they are. There's a nice fitted travel box there. It's a nice rosewood example. It's got all the silver fittings with it, well, some are missing actually. So there's a bit of a journey with that one, I think. And then that nice picture frame I've got as well, which is with the crown on the top. So overall, I think I've done okay, but I think some items need a bit of work and a bit of research, really, but fingers crossed.
Well, he might not have his plan completely mapped out, but no challenge is too big for the Superman of the antiques world. He has the knowledge.
What a cracker. This is a solid silver mirror, and it's probably the biggest one I've ever seen.
Bags of charm.
You are a gent. Thank you ever so much.
I thought it might kill you now.
Fantastic.
And the ability to close a deal.
210.
190 will have a do. How's it?
He's also determined to get off to a quick start, so he's donned his cape and headed off to London to try and secure the first sale.
Do you know what? There is a saying in the antique business that it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I brought along that wonderful Crown Derby tray to Chiswick Auction Rooms, not to sell through the rooms, but to meet a guy that comes here regularly. It's one of his favourite haunts, and he deals in fine porcelain, namely Crown Derby.
Well, thankfully for all concerned, Superman Hayes has kept his undies under his trousers. If he wants to make a profit on his Crown Derby tray, though, Paul needs to sell it for more than £100. But will his buyer be prepared to pay that much?
This is a beautiful tray, and it's in good condition by the looks of it.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything wrong with that at all. So.
Well, I always have one way of finding out.
Look at that.
It does that, and it does a little ring, and it also comes through. If it's cracked, you won't feel it through the other side from where you ring it.
All right, I see.
No resonance, as in the bell.
Got you. Well, that's lovely.
Isn't
And
that beautiful?
what I've seen before as well is that lots of the gilding tends to get rubbed off. This is in lovely condition, isn't
Yes,
it?
it's in beautiful condition.
Oh, that's great.
Beautiful condition. Now, you think 140 years ago, a maid would be carrying this up, the tease maid would be carrying this up to the master's bedroom.
Isn't that fantastic, eh?
Yeah. And here we are today.
Doesn't happen in my house.
Not in mine neither.
Yes, he might be an antique superhero, but I suspect Mrs. Hayes might want a word with him when he gets home. Anyway, it's time to focus, Paul, and use your super selling powers to try and seal a deal.
If I was to ask you 150, how does that sound?
That's top of the range.
Okay.
I will be kind to you and give you 120.
120. Okay. So it cost me £100, so there's £20 profit there.
Yeah.
And it's one item less for me to sell, so I think I'll accept that, Chris.
Right, Paul.
How's that? I'll throw you in a cup of tea.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you very much, Chris. That's lovely.
So Mr. Hayes' plate has served up a £20 profit and put him into the lead. If he wants to win today's contest, though, he's going to have to start bagging bigger profits, because he's not the only antique superhero in town. Herefordshire's very own Wonder Woman is also determined to emerge triumphant from today's Titanic tussle. She's got an eye for a bargain.
I think that's a little bit of a cracker.
She's a ruthless negotiator.
170.
Right, okay.
170?
Okay.
And she's headed to one of her local antique shops to try and sell the silver vinaigrette and peppermill.
Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Kate.
How are you? It's me again.
Good to see you again.
Hi
Hello.
there.
You've been buying again.
I have,
Oh,
yeah. Just a couple of items for you to see
Right.
today.
Okay.
But I know that you like vinaigrettes.
Oh, right, you've got a vinaigrette.
And I have. Let me
Fine.
pop this down on the floor.
And a peppermill,
And
I
a
see.
peppermill. This, I think, is a really nice one. It caught my eye. It's quite a good size. Have a little look.
Yeah.
And it's 1836 in date.
Fine.
Quite nice condition. The grill's still in nice condition,
It
which
is,
nice.
isn't it? Yeah.
And it's quite a good maker. It's Thomas Shaw,
Thomas Shaw, that's good.
which is quite collectible,
That's
isn't
fine.
it?
Last year, William IV, 1836, just before Queen Victoria came to the throne.
Yes, that's
before the
right.
mark changed, which is like a transitional piece, so that's good. Yes, nicely engraved on the top and bottom, all hand engraved. Inside, you're sure you've noticed this, the grill's strained, and that's got to be sorted out, which we can do here in the workshop. And it doesn't need to be over-restored again, just sort that out, clean it probably by hand and put it back on the shelves. Probably have a customer for it straight away. Price is important though.
Well, the shop owner is making all the right noises, but it's all about the money now. Can Kate persuade him to part with more than the £110 she paid for the vinaigrette?
I'm really looking for about 160 on that.
Too much for me. It's lovely, but it's, you know, these aren't making the money they used to. And if I buy it at that, I know I'd have an awful job selling it.
Right.
And I really want to pay about 100 for it, 120. But perhaps we can split the difference, so I'm looking at about 140.
I think 140 would be fine.
Fine, that's
Lovely.
good. Super.
Thank you.
The dealer drove a hard bargain, but Kate knows all the tricks of the trade, and she's still banked a £30 profit. As she sets to work trying to sell the silver peppermill,
Now, it has got a few tiny wee dents just there, just around the top, but I know that, again, that's something you could do in your workshop, isn't it?
Paul is on the trail of another sale.
Now, the secret of this job actually is to make the most of the opportunities that come your way. I just happened to be filming round the corner and I'm in Gloucester. And I found out there's a great antique centre here in Gloucester and a couple of antique shops. So I've got some of my items with me. Wish me luck.
Morecambe's very own antique Superman is hoping to cash in on the velvet photo frame and the papier-mâché inkstand.
Ah, Mary.
Well, hello.
How are you?
I'm very well,
All
thank
right,
you.
nice to see it. Now then, as mentioned, I brought you on two beautiful items. The first one is a lovely photo frame.
Oh, that's nice.
Do you know any members of the royal family that could go in there?
Well, not at the moment, no. It's rather good, isn't it?
Isn't that fantastic,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes, that's lovely.
It's a lovely gold frame. It's got the coronet on the top here, and I suspect there's been a photograph in the middle, but that's now gone. Is that the sort of thing you're interested in?
Oh, that's lovely. It's very pretty. Yes. Well, I've never had one like this before, but I think it certainly is attractive.
And this is the papier-mâché inkstand.
That's pretty.
You're looking sort of 1890, 1900. And the nice thing about that one is that all the gilding is in good condition and all the mother of pearl is there.
Right.
So it's entirely up to you, really. I don't want to pressure you in any way, but if you could buy one of these, it would be fantastic.
Well, I'd be quite interested in the photograph frame, but that would depend on what you wanted for it.
Paul paid £30 for the photo frame, and with Kate currently in the lead, the pressure's on to seal a deal and make a good profit.
Well, I do think it's a nice one. I don't think I've ever seen one before behind the glass, and I think that's a good selling point.
Yes.
I was hoping for £60 on that one, which is a nice one.
Right. Yes. I think I'd be happier at 50 for this.
OK.
But you've got a bit of roughness on the top here. That you know the nice soft velvet has gone from the top, as probably you'd expect of something this age.
Yeah.
But so that it is a bit against it.
OK.
So 50 would be better for me.
Well, we're all in for making a profit. I think that I've made about £20 on that at that, which is great. That's what we're here for. It's not a £20 loss.
That's right.
Which we usually work on.
That's good.
So that's fine. So you're happy at £50?
Yeah, I'm happy with that for £50.
Oh, that would be lovely.
So Paul snapped up another £20 profit from the photo frame, but can he also tempt the dealer into making an offer for the inkstand?
I think it's very pretty and it's in good condition, but I think it's rather too much for me. I don't really think that my customers would be interested in that.
Well, that's fine. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yes. So is that a deal then?
That is a deal. That's lovely.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Well, he might have made some money from the photo frame, but the inkstand is antiques kryptonite for Superman Hayes.
Hello.
Whilst he hits the phone to try and find another taker for his papier-mâché piece.
OK.
His arch rival is trying to turn a profit for the pepper mill that she paid £45 for.
I really was looking for about £80.
Oh, no. Again, it's far too much, considering the time I've got to spend on it. I can buy these for a lot less than that. What about 60?
Say 65?
Yes, OK. We can do something with it for 65.
Oh, great.
Great.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's super.
Lovely.
Well,
Thank
thanks
you
for
very
coming in.
much.
Thank you.
The dealer put up a good fight, but once again Miss Bliss has sealed the deal and banked a £20 profit.
Well, that's fantastic. 2 items sold and to the buyer that I had in mind. I've made a small profit and these items are going to be restored to their former glory by Andrew, so I hope he's going to make a nice profit. So it's a win-win situation. But maybe not for you, Paul.
It might be a bit too early to be taunting her rival, but thanks to her success with her 2 silver pieces, Kate has a narrow lead. Superman Hayes, though, isn't a man to give in easily. He might have drawn a blank once with the inkstand, but if at first you don't succeed...
And that is a nice one.
It is, isn't it? I mean, it's nice to find one in good condition. I've seen lots of these where the mother of pearl has actually been removed, but that's nice, isn't
That's
it?
right, yeah. And the gold is in nice condition as well.
Don't forget, if Paul wants to make a profit, he has to get more than £70 for it.
So, it's down to price now. Now, this one actually stands me about £70. Now, can we see a little bit of profit in that just for myself?
75.
75, is that right?
Yeah.
Right. OK. Well, there's a saying in the antique business that one bid is worth 1,000 lookers on.
That's right.
So that sounds a great deal.
Yeah,
OK. All right.
that's lovely.
OK,
Thank
let's
you.
put it somewhere safe.
Well, honesty might usually be the best policy, but telling the lady how much he paid for the inkstand wasn't a great negotiating tactic from Paul.
Nice to see you, Daisy.
£5 is a very slim profit for the inkstand and means Kate is still in the lead. Remember, the winner of today's clash of our antique superheroes will be the expert who makes the most money for their chosen charity. So far, Kate, Wonder Woman Bliss, is powering ahead. She sold just 2 items for £205 and has made a £50 profit. But Paul, not so Superman Hayes, is lagging behind. He's sold 3 items for £245 and has banked just £45 worth of profit. Well, he might be down, but Paul's definitely not out, and he's headed to London to try and seal the next deal and pile the pressure back onto Kate.
Now, does it get any better than this? I'm in the Burlington Arcade in Piccadilly, and it's the heart, really, of the antique and the jewellery business. There are some wonderful shops in here, and the one I'm going to see is a gentleman called Daniel Bexfield, and he's a silver specialist. And hopefully he'll be able to buy 1 or 2 of these things. Let's see how we get on.
Paul's hoping to sell his travel case, but to make a profit, he needs to get more than £195 for it.
Come on in, Mr. Hayes.
I'm going to shake your hand.
It's lovely to see you. My goodness, you're struggling.
Yes, I am, yes.
You've been busy.
I certainly have. I've got some interesting bits and pieces.
OK, lovely.
But first of all, I mentioned this to you. It's a travelling box. It's not quite complete, but it is an early example.
What a shame.
Yes. Now then, is there anything you can do with that?
Let's have a little look at it. Well, the nice thing is that you've got silver lids. So often with this type of boxes, they're silver plated.
That's right.
So that's a great start. So let's have a look. So we've got...
But I thought they're quite early as well. I mean, I couldn't quite detail the hallmark. They're either 1810 or 1830, one of the
We'll have a look. It's certainly looking more like 1830.
Yeah.
And the reason I say, we'll actually look up the date properly in a minute. But if you look at the leopard's head, the London town mark, it doesn't have a crown on. The date letter, the P, which is for 1830, which makes it William IV.
The dealer's making the right noises, but is he really interested?
It's not complete, and because of that, and also looking at this tray here, you've got far too much missing. The actual condition of the box is lovely.
Right.
The condition of the glass and the silver, you've got dents, it's had a bit of a wear, you've got pieces missing. It's not something that I would sell or buy.
OK, that's fine.
For that reason, everything I want everything to be nice and right,
Yeah, of course.
and it's in its original condition as much as possible.
So there's too much work there to get it together.
There is.
Oh, this is a disaster for Mr. Hayes. The dealer is not going to make an offer for his travel case, and a few days later, there's more bad news.
Now, we start out with good intentions in life, and do you remember these 3 cherub singers, or these band players that I bought at Ardingly all that time ago? Well, my original intention was to have them restored. One of them was missing a wing. But since you last seen them, this one is now Venus de Milo. He's actually missing his arm. And this one is missing the top of his cello. Now, bearing in mind I have 3 children, and the combination of 3 children and porcelain doesn't really mix. So what I think I'm going to do, rather than have them restored, which would be too expensive and wouldn't be worth doing, is give them to my mum. She thinks I'm an angel, but Mum, I'm a devil in disguise.
Well, he seems to be in good spirits, but Superman Hayes has crashed and burned again. His super opponent, meanwhile, is trying to track down someone who's interested in buying her pork bottle label. She's found a potential buyer, and quick as a flash, Kate is off to Bristol to try and seal the deal. She's come to meet a member of the wine label circle.
Gordon, hi, I'm Kate.
I'm Gordon.
How do you do?
But to make a profit, she needs to secure a sale for more than £60.
The maker of this label is particularly good, and it's quite a boring design, if you like, and the name Port, of course, is fairly commonplace, but it's clearly marked on the back, which is quite nice. The assay marks are really nice and crisp. And of course we have the maker's initials here, JW for Joseph Wilmore.
May I look?
Of course. Now he's collectible in himself as a silversmith from the early part of the 19th century. And this, I'm sure you know, dates from 1822.
Kate's working hard to promote her piece, but is the label's connoisseur impressed by what he sees?
Yes, this is, we would call this a broad rectangular with clipped corners, and in this case with one line. They often had 1, 2 or 3 lines.
Right, that's the border around. Oh, I see.
And so this would be the standard shape for wine labels, and from there they get more complicated.
So, would this be something that you would be interested in adding to your collection, Gordon?
Oh, well, I'd have to start by saying, of course, it's very common. It's a very common name. And, well, I suppose, reluctantly, I could be interested in it.
Reluctantly? I don't think he's kidding anyone. Come on, Kate, let's see the colour of his money.
I'm looking for about 150, Gordon. How does that sound?
Well, I would think 150 would be quite a substantial sum for what is a relatively plain label. And I was thinking more in the range of 50.
Right, so we're miles apart.
Well, miles apart, but perhaps we can get a little bit closer. Can I persuade you to come down a little from the 150?
Well, how does 130 sound?
Oh, still sounds a lot per ounce. What about 100?
110?
105.
You drive a hard bargain, don't
Well,
you?
so do you.
105, let's do it.
OK.
Is that all right?
We'll shake hands on that.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, that was a tough negotiation, but Miss Bliss stuck to her guns. She's walking away with a £45 profit. And when she finds a buyer for her brass lamp...
Yep, that's fantastic.
The pressure is really building on Paul. Mr. Hayes isn't done yet, though. He may have failed to sell his travel case first time around, but superheroes don't give up at the first sign of trouble. He's found an antique box dealer in West London who's interested in buying the case without the bottles. But how much is he willing to pay?
I think a very generous offer would be £150.
Well, that does sound a very generous offer. I mean, that allows me to try and sell the silver for a bit of a profit, and hopefully it gets the profit out of the whole thing.
Good.
And I would like to accept it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
We have a deal then.
You have a deal. Thank you very much.
£150 is a fantastic price for the case, and Paul also manages to sell the bottles for £100. The case has given Mr. Hayes a very handsome profit, and with just £5 between our experts, everything now rests on the final 2 deals. It's a shootout at the Antiques Corral. Paul will be trying to sell his silver knives and forks, whilst Kate's chances rest with her leather vanity box and her wooden stationery box. Miss Bliss is the first to make a move. She's set up a meeting with a local antiques dealer and she's hoping he'll be interested in both boxes.
Ah, Stacey,
Good morning, Kate. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good.
Well, these are the two pieces I told you about.
Right.
One stationery box and one jewellery box. I'll show you that one in a minute.
With Kate pinning her hopes on making a double sale, Paul's decided that the best chance of victory lies in persuading the dealer who turned down the travel case to buy the silver knives and forks.
You've got fruit knives and forks, mother of pearl handles, silver blades. They're made by the Goldsmiths and Silversmiths Company, good manufacturers, and they're made in London in 1915.
This is a no-holds-barred fight to the finish. If our experts want to win today's clash, failure is not an option.
Open it up, and we've still got the little aid memoir there, which is quite nice, on opaque glass.
Yes.
But I mean, I know there are quite a few of them around.
Yes, I
You've
mean,
got the compartments.
obviously a mahogany one would be nicer, but otherwise, yes, it's not too bad condition. And what else? And we've got the jewellery box there.
Yes, let me show you the jewellery. Now this, I think, is really nice. What do you think of that?
Yes, quite a pretty looking thing. Nice travelling one, yes.
It really hasn't been messed about with, and the leather's still all really nice.
Yep, and the original velvet.
That's
which is
right.
Nice.
Unfolds, and then we've got, this comes up, of course, and we've got compartments underneath.
Yes.
And we've got the original little bottles there, and under here we've got the original little brush in ivory,
that's sweet.
which I think is really sweet.
With Miss Bliss poised to strike, Paul has to secure a sale.
So often with this type of set, normally the blades and the tines are silver plated that you see. I see lots of those sets, and that's not something I would buy because I only do silver.
Yes, of course.
And the lovely thing is that they are silver. They do need quite a good clean. I would have been disappointed that you hadn't sort of cleaned them all nicely for me before
I do
bringing
apologise.
You know, a little bit more work would be good.
I'm sorry, I'll remember that for next time, Daniel.
I think so. I think we need a little bit more effort from you. It would be a good idea. They are nice. As far as price, had you had a price in mind?
Well, both dealers seem interested in Paul and Kate's wares, but which of our experts can negotiate the biggest profit? Kate paid £175 for her two boxes, and it's time to get down to business.
Well, I'm looking for about £100 on the stationery box.
Right.
But for this one, because it's so clean and all in original condition and so good, I really need about 180.
Okay. It's a bit of a steep price for that particular item for me, personally. You know, it's not that I'm not interested. I would be interested in the two items. And what price could you do for the two?
All right, well, if you took the two, I'll do them both for 270. How's that?
What about 260?
260. OK.
Is that all right?
260.
Okay.
All right, that's fine.
That's lovely.
That's a great result for Miss Bliss. She's made an £85 profit on her two boxes. But Paul has also done a deal for his knives and forks, and we'll find out very shortly how much he made. Our two experts have waged a fierce battle today, but how much cash have they raised from their antiques fair adventure? Kate spent a total of £415 at the antiques fair, whilst Paul splashed out £500. Remember, all profits will be going to charity, and neither of our experts know what the other has made. So, without further ado, it's time to reveal who is today's Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is champion.
Oh, now
So
then.
how are you?
How do you get on? I've been meaning to ask you. I haven't seen you for ages.
Yeah, well, actually, I found it quite tricky buying on this one. I found it difficult to find something that I really liked, that I thought I might make a profit on. But I bought that nice jewellery box.
Yes.
That went okay. And do you remember that little vinaigrette and port label I bought?
I do.
Yeah, they went all right. So it's been swings and roundabouts a bit. How about you, though? Because you bought some nice stuff.
Yeah, but I had exactly the opposite. I spent it all within about 10 minutes and then really struggled to sell it, In
Okay.
fact, I sold one of the items yesterday.
In the nick of time.
In the nick of time. But I did do well, in the words of Ronnie Barker. I bought some fork handles and they went very well, some mother of pearl ones.
Well, I think you've thrashed me on this one because you're used to buying at fairs, aren't you? That's what you do.
It's not easy though, but this one I think I've done all right with. But
yeah,
shall we see?
I think you've absolutely thrashed me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Oh, Well done you! That's a really good result.
That is surprising.
320.
Yeah. Are you sure we can have
Well done you.
I didn't feel that way at the time. It was very difficult. I'll tell you that much. So well done.
I think you ought to buy me lunch.
Do you know what? I think a lunch and an ice cream as well.
Oh,
All right,
sounds
well,
good.
Congratulations. Well, that's a great profit.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a loss, is it? Which is very important. Come on in.
So, it's a triumph for Superman Hayes. And it was the silver knives and forks that did it. Remember, he bought them for £85. How much did they make?
What is nice about it, they are silver blades. The mother of pearl is perfect.
Yes.
And if they'd been brought in to be one of my dealers, it's the sort of thing that it would have been offered to me for about between 250 and 300 pounds.
Wow.
I would be happy to pay 325. They are nice. They're not as easy to find as they used to be.
Well, that really is absolutely fantastic.
Excellent. So you're happy with that?
I'm very happy with that, yes. I shall certainly treat you to a lovely lunch, actually, I think, on that.
Excellent.
Oh, that's really good.
What an amazing profit. In true superhero style, Mr. Hayes pulled it out of the bag at the last minute.
Now, I've had a fantastic time. The antique fair at Ardingly proved to be a really safe bet. I spent the entire amount of money, I spent £500, but more importantly, I made £320 profit. So I'm delighted with that, and I won this one. Great.
Well, you'd think it would be easy strolling around with £500 in your pocket, wouldn't you? But I found it a real struggle, so hats off to dealers who make money all the time doing this, and congratulations, Paul.
Our experts have fought an epic battle today, but the good news is they both made a profit, and those profits will be going to two very good causes.
Well, I've had a fantastic day today. I've beaten Kate, which is wonderful, but more importantly, I've made £320 profit, and that's on its way to children in need. So, everyone's a winner.
I'm raising money for St Michael's Hospice, which is a specialist care unit in my home county of Herefordshire, who give fantastic support and care not only to patients but to their families. And although Paul beat me today, I've still managed to raise a little bit of money for them.
Well, Paul might have won today's clash, but this contest is far from over. Tomorrow, our two experts will be crossing the channel and going head-to-head at an antiques market in Belgium.
Antonius Stradivarius. Do you think it's a real one? It's €125. I very much doubt it.
Well, Paul, I hope you're ready for a really good fight because, as they say, the gloves are off.